Genesis 26, 6 through 17. So Isaac settled in Gerar. When the men of the place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," for he feared to say "my wife," thinking, lest the men of the place should kill me because of Rebekah, because she was attractive in appearance. When he had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac laughing with Rebekah, his wife. So Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, she is your wife. How then could you say, 'She is my sister'?" Isaac said to him, "Because I thought lest I die because of her." Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech warned all the people, saying, "Whoever touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." And Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. The Lord blessed him, and the man became rich and gained more and more until he became very wealthy. He had possessions of flocks and herds and many servants, so that the Philistines envied him. Now the Philistines had stopped and filled with earth all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father. And Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we." So Isaac departed from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Oh, the ground was dry and the rain was dead, but the Lord's own promise hovered over his head. He sowed his seed in the famine, reaped 100-fold, not by his own righteous hands, but a covenant of old. Yeah, he failed the test, but the Lord stood by, bringing living water from a land bone dry. Walked right back into his daddy's sin, looked at his bride, said, "Tell him you're my kin." But the king looked down from his window high, saw Yitschaq play and caught him in a lie. A pagan king preaching to the chosen seed, but the God of Abraham covered his misdeed. Oh, the ground was dry and the rain was dead, but the Lord's own promise hovered over his head. He sowed his seed in the famine, reaped 100-fold, not by his own righteous hands, but a covenant of old. Yeah, he failed the test, but the Lord stood by, bringing living water from a land bone dry. The dirt was cracked, but the barley grew. 100 measures from the morning dew. Thousands of tents covering up the sand. Flocks and herds marching through the land. The Philistines grew bitter, filled the wells with clay. Said, "You're too mighty, boy, you gotta move away." Sometimes the Lord uses a jealous king to push you from the city, make you spread your wing. He'll use a heathen's envy, he'll use the world's deep dread to separate his people and keep the promise fed. Pack up the camels, gather up the sheep. We're digging out the blessings buried in the deep. Oh, the ground was dry and the rain was righteous hands, but a covenant of old. Yeah, he failed the test, but the Lord stood by.